What's up YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. Before I start this video, I would like to say I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own DD. I would also like to ask for forgiveness ahead of time as I'm starting to lose my voice. I've recorded this video probably 30 times today and it just doesn't seem to want to come out right. So hopefully this is the one. So today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, of course, right? But today we're going to talk about the dividend, we're going to talk about the 40-day quiet period, and we're going to talk about who is Greg Mccabe. So let's go ahead and start out with the dividend. So as we know, the dividend is to be paid out by, or paid out, let me rephrase that. The dividend is to be recorded by December 28th. The payout will be after that. It does not state anywhere that it has to be paid out before that. It could be, doesn't have to be. With that being said, the dividend payout is going to be determined upon what the Torchlight assets were sold for. So we're going to break that down a little bit. Now, this could get very boring. So if you don't want to hear about the Torchlight assets, you can go ahead and skip to the end of the video where I talk about the 40-day quiet period, and Greg Mccabe will come in between that. So, the Oregon Basin is probably the biggest of the two properties that we're really looking at for assets to be sold, and that's the one I'm going to talk about first. So back in February of 2020, Torch announced that they struck oil and gas at his Cactus A35 #1 well. Now, I'm going to show you some of these slides right on my computer screen, and I'll go through them. And I'm going to try and include all of this DD, all of the links right in the description of my video. So right here to even tell you everything that I'm saying. They struck oil, and that's got geological properties that are found in the Permian Basin. Now, at the time, they were producing 15 barrels of oil and 110 million cubic feet of gas a day. And with the new drilling, they could potentially extrapolate 3,000 barrels per day. But the problem was that, according to Greg Mccabe, that the existing production system, it couldn't reduce the fluid level without causing mechanical issues in the system. And the company was actively changing the production line to reduce the pressure. But the problem is COVID set in. So in April 9th, Torch received a 1-year suspension. Let's see here, boom, right there. A 1-year suspension of obligation from the Oregon Basin. And of course, like I said, it was due to COVID. The stay-at-home order basically put a halt to the workings of Torchlight. And the short sellers then took over on the stock. And they just started pounding on it. So then that basically led us to all of the people buying into Torch and expecting the squeeze, which I do want to say, some of those shorts did cover. When you seen it go from that $2 range to $11.50, that was a lot of shorts covering. There was some FOMO in there, but there was a lot of shorts too. That's covered. All right. Now let's move on to the other property that I want to talk about. That is the Hazel project. So with the Hazel project, August 12th, Torch signs an option agreement. Now, here's the thing with this project. This is the big one for us because this one already has an agreement in the works, and this is what we're talking about here. If this goes through, this could lead to the Oregon Basin being purchased as well, possibly by the same company. And again, this is a little bit speculation, but sometimes when one asset is purchased, another one can be acquired at a good deal. So that would then close the deal for us and just kind of speed the process along. So, on August 12th, Torch signs the options agreement with Masterson Hazel Partnership LP and Mccabe Petroleum Corporation. There's that Greg Mccabe name again, whom already owned 20% of that Hazel project asset. And Greg Mccabe was the chairman of Torchlight Energy at the time. The option agreement gives the investors the option to buy not the obligation, but the option to buy 9,762 net acres at a cost of $1,300 per acre for a purchase price of $12.7 million. So we've currently got an estimated value of our dividend shares of right around $110 million. Now, the stipulation at the time of the agreement was the said investors, on their dime, so they have to pay for all of this, will drill at a depth of 7,500 feet at the Flying Bee Ranch number 4 location in the Wolf Camp A formation. That is the technical location of where they had to drill. Then after completion and a period of evaluation, now after completion means confirmation of oil, and the period of evaluation, the investors have the option, not obligation, to acquire the land. Now, of course, this will be dependent on striking oil. Now, at first, this all had to be done and completed by March 31st, 2021. And due to COVID and other business happenings, that has been extended to September 30th, 2021. Which, as you know, is in exactly 2 months. So within the next 2 months, we should know about the Hazel Project location. Now, currently, I want to, hang on one second. Okay, so currently, I want to talk about the timeline. Here, right down here, I want to show you. This is where it shows that Hazel Project was amended to be completed by September 30th, 2021. Right over here, the timeline. So August 13th, Torch announced the signing of the agreement. We already covered that. The next one is the 17th. So within 4 days, we've already got word that the investors have already begun drilling. And that's a very good sign. That means that they are very interested. They want to speed this process up. Now, just a few days after that, you get word that the drilling has been completed and the casing is done. And fracking is to begin in October. Now, with that whole situation, the fracking in October, that gets delayed about another month. And I'm going to assume paperwork and COVID. Okay, that's what I'm going to assume on that one. Nothing to think about that. It's just the way it is. So now we're going to move over, and here's our proof, November 10th. We reported that the Hazel Project has completed the hydraulic fracturing operations, and it went according to plan. So it went smooth. So far, everything leading up to this date is looking very good for us. And then we've got one more news to touch on that, and that's right here, December 3rd. It reported that the flowback process will begin, and now this could take a considerable amount of time. This could take up to a few months. And basically that's where we're at right now. We're waiting on the word from this flowback situation. And that will tell us whether the investors are going to approve the option to buy and exercise it, or if they're going to deny it. Now, if they do deny the option to buy, say oil doesn't get found, if they do deny the option to buy, then we're going to have to figure out a different way to let go of this resource. Now, with that being said, that basically wraps up the whole dividend thing. We know these few things to be true in this whole situation. When do we see our dividend? It could be as late as December 28th. But the payout could be the 29th, 30th, it could be the 1st, 2nd, it could be any of those days. And the amount of the dividend will for sure be between $1 and $20 per share held through the ex-dividend date. Now, here's the next thing I want to cover in that. The shorts. Yes, the shorts have to pay the dividend. Any short that was extended through the ex-dividend date has to pay the dividend. Now, they don't have to pay the dividend until they know how much the dividend is going to be. Now, I also have another theory in this whole entire dividend situation with the shorts, and that's the failures to deliver. If you remember correctly, I keep telling everybody that you'll notice that at the very end of the month last month, there's two great big failures to deliver on the 28th and the 29th. I really think that's the short positions. I don't know about this whole them having to pay the dividend thing. I don't know if there's going to be a dividend for them to pay, because I think they were just issued a failure to deliver, which in that instance basically cancels their position. They have to pay that, correct? I think. Anyway. We're going to go ahead and push past this. I'm done talking about the dividend now. I want to talk about I want to talk about who is Greg Mccabe. So, I've heard Sterling talk about this guy a couple of times, and I wanted to dig into him a little bit. He is big oil. He's got a good position in the company, and I want to open up a little bit of light on this guy. So, as you all are aware, I have Fintel data. I pay for it. And I'm going to show you something in here that I think everybody's going to find a little bit interesting. So we've gone over some of the tabs in the Fintel category, and one of them is insiders. And in order to be on the insiders trading tab, you have to have you have to be vested in the company. You have to have a standing in the company. That's what makes you an insider. And when you come down here, you can see what I mean. Greg Mccabe. And you can also see Petroleum Corp Mccabe. So this gentleman here not only holds his 6,813,000, but he holds his company's 5 million, with a grand total of 11,813,480 shares. I mean, that's awesome. I'm super happy about that. But here's where I start going astray. I think this Greg Mccabe is going to be a very big player in the game in the end. And I'm going to try and break that down for you guys right down here. So this down here is the transaction history for the insider trading of Mmat. And we know this because you can see here's the James Michael Graves. That was his sale off. Here's the George Palikaris, and so on and so forth. And right down here we've got Greg Mccabe. Now, these are convertible promissory notes. And basically what that is a promise to a lender to pay back a set amount of money or stock for an investment. That's what a convertible promissory note is in a nutshell. But you'll also see that he has all of these common stock conversions, awarded common stocks, things like that. I'm going to scroll down here. Sorry if anybody gets a head rush. I'm going to throw down real fast to the last ones that I remember seeing right here. So, Greg Mccabe, 20% owner of Torch Assets, chairman of Torch. Also, in 2015, has been a common stock holder, has had a bunch of series of convertible preferred stocks, warrants. We can scroll up here, more common stock, purchases of common stock, like crazy purchases of common stock, okay, with no selling. I don't see any selling. All the way up to current. I mean, we're talking within no time of now. So, basically what I'm getting at, guys, is this guy here, I think he's a big time. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So, if you were to select on his name, which I did already, and I've selected on his company, and I want to do his company first because it's easier. So this will help ease up the hardness of understanding Fintel. So his company's only got this. It just shows it. And it's just two. It's the same thing. It just shows the 5 million shares, right? So that just shows what the company itself holds as far as an insider for Mmat. But if I go to him and you come over here, you got all kinds of stuff here. Again, it's just showing the same thing I showed you. It just breaks it down to where it's just him. And you'll notice that the negatives are minimal compared to the positives. And yet you don't see all of this. He is I think a 13% owner or a 10% owner, something like that, of the overall company. And from the looks of these numbers, he's got pretty damn near what George has as far as shares go. So the next thing I want to look at is his website. So this is Mccabe Ventures, oil and gas, real estate, and investments. Now, this is him. Here's the other reason why I think he is going to be a huge player. This shows his investments, active ownership, and joint venture partners. Oil and gas, he's an active owner in all of these things. Of course, Mccabe Minerals and Royalties and Mccabe Petroleum Corporation being his top two. That's his, which was also a subsidiary of Torchlight, or not, I shouldn't say a subsidiary. I should say a investor or / owner of Torchlight. Real estate, he's got his own real estate group. And then his investments. Now here's the one I'm really, really, really concerned with. Peak Nano Optics. Let's click on it. Let's go ahead and look at them. Nanotechnology. This is nanotechnology in glasses. All right. Look at that. Now tell me this isn't right in our wheelhouse, guys. Tell me that Mr. Mccabe, with his investments, his joint venture partnership in Peak Nano Optics, and all of his ownership in our company, and his extremely long standing with Mr. George Palikaris himself, tell me that he is not setting us up for an absolutely awesome opportunity, guys. I mean, if you were to join these companies together, Mmat and this optics company here, this Peak Nano, you could truly see an explosion of productivity. You're talking phenomenal opportunity. Now, this is all tinfoil hat stuff here. This is truly speculation. However, it's not a coincidence that all of this stuff lines up over all of the years, and for him to be directly correlated with this company and what we're trying to do in the optics end of our company blows my mind. So, that is Greg Mccabe. He is probably, in my personal opinion, tinfoil hatted up, a silent partner who allows for money flow, cash flow for investing into research and development. He's a real estate broker. He more than likely got us that phenomenal deal on the rental with a share trade, I do believe. Wolfbone Properties, that might have been it. I'm not sure. Could have been this one. I don't know. Again, speculation. So this guy's a big player in our company. All right. I think I'm done with Mr. Mccabe. I'm just really excited for him. Like I said, Sterling's been talking about him, and I really want to know who he was, so I dug. And there's my findings. I think he's cool. I really do. Now, let's go on to the quiet period. So, I really like to use Investopedia. I've said that before. I bring this up so you guys can read it for yourself, so I'm not lying to you. But quiet period can be referred to in a couple of different standings. So you've got it when a company IPOs, or the 40-day period before the close of the business quarter. So before earnings, basically. So in this instance, I think we could consider it as both. And here's why I say that. Come the 9th of August, will be exactly 40 days plus one holiday. So 41 days from the date the merger was completed. August 9th is our earnings date. So, George Palikaris, with his gigantically awesome big brain, has managed to time the merger to be up exactly 40 days before earnings during the 40-day quiet period where a company is not allowed to embargo on promotional publicity. This prohibits the management team on their marketing agents from making forecasts or expressions, any opinions about the value of their company. George hasn't been able to say anything at all since the day this merger has taken place, and can't say anything for at least another week. All right? So, quiet period refers to an IPO company or 40 days before the close of a business quarter. Okay? We fall under both of those this time. It's rare, but we do. You can thank George for that. Now, does that mean that that's going to lead to a catalyst? God, I hope so. But I don't know. It's purely speculation. And again, I always say I don't trade on speculation. But in this instance, I'm not going to trade, but I'm going to hope. Because one of the people that I've read on Reddit, one of the things they said about a post I posted was, it doesn't hurt to hope. I mean, and I'm just summarizing, but it doesn't hurt to hope. And that person was absolutely right. It doesn't. Let's go ahead and hope that Greg Mccabe is going to bring us the nano optics. Let us hope that the Project Hazel is going to close, the option is going to get exercised, and that leads to the Oro Grande basin being sold. And let's go ahead and hope that we have more green days, more green weeks. Now, that's basically all I got for you guys. We covered the dividend, we covered Greg, and we covered the 40-day quiet period. So I'm sorry it was really long. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Go ahead, hit like, subscribe, comment below. Find me on Facebook. No, I'm not Facebook. It's stupid Facebook. Find me on Twitter. That's the one. Also, I'm on Reddit. Look for us there. I've actually recently gotten hooked up with Chunk, which I know he does a lot with Sterling, and I'm looking forward to a lot of interaction with him. He seems to be very smart. He does a lot of DD. He's very DD oriented. He really dives deep. So with that being said, I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I hope we have a green day. Peace.